If you're starting a business in Polk County, there are many things to consider. Determining legal structure, professional licensing and regulation, and obtaining a business tax receipt are just a few to consider. A resource that new entrepreneurs can count on to help them succeed is coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Lauren Lingell. In studio with me today, we have Dawn DeCaminata. She's the Business Assistance Manager for Community and Small Business, the Community and Small Business Assistance Program. Dawn, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
To start, can you tell me a little bit about the Community and Small Business Assistance Program?
Sure. Community and Small Business Assistance is a resource not only for the community and our partners in the community, but also for entrepreneurs. The community side of Community and Small Business Assistance is community development. So we work with the cities within Polk County to help them get ready for business to come into their community, whether they already have existing small business owners or they are wanting to bring in industry or a larger business. We work with them to develop a strategic plan, an economic development plan. We make sure that they have all the resources that they need. On the small business side, we are a resource for small businesses. We work with the communities as well to make sure that entrepreneurs in Polk County and in the cities are ready to rather start a business or continue in a business that they already have. So we have several resources that are available both for the community and for small businesses in the community.
Let's take the small business side first. Mm-hmm. Tell me, say I'm starting a business, I want to learn a little bit more. What are my first steps in getting connected with Polk County's small business program?
Typically what we see from a small business owner is that they're unprepared or unaware of a lot of the challenges that come with starting a small business. And we get a small business owner in and they say, I want to start a shoe store because I like shoes, just for example. Yeah, there you go. We can talk after this. So when they come in, what I find a lot is that they have not prepared themselves or done the resource. They kind of have this dream, which is great, but you also have to have a plan to go along with that dream. So the first step really, before they even come in the office to talk to us, is to sit them down and have them put together a strategic plan, which is just goal setting, really. Make sure that they're aware of some of the challenges, do a SWOT analysis, maybe put down some financials, find out where they're at financially. Are you able to sustain this business? Here are some of the things it takes. A lot of people come in with a misunderstanding. They say, well, I'll just get a grant. I'm a small business owner. There's grants available for small business owners. And there are certain types of grants, but not just to open a business, and it won't fund 100%. So I think the first thing that we really do for a new business owner is to make sure they have a realistic view of what they're about to get into. After that, then we can take it to the next level. Then we can talk about business planning. Then we can talk about financing. And so on and so forth, up to, where do you want to locate? We have resources available for every community, every city in Polk County. And, just because you live in Lake Alfred doesn't mean maybe Lake Alfred is the best place to put your business. Maybe Winter Haven is. So we look at it on a case-by-case basis. We also work with our partners, SBDC and SCORE, Career Source Polk, Catapult. There's a lot of resources out there for small businesses now. 4 or 5 years ago, there weren't too many resources available. Now, almost every city quadrant in Polk County has some kind of a resource available. So we work with our partners too. If it's something that we're not an expert in, and we're not an expert in everything, for example, if a company's interested in exporting, we'll send them to SBDC and maybe get an export marketing plan put together. Maybe they just want to attend some classes. We work with our partners at SCORE who put on a lot of classes and recommend them to SCORE. So that's really, we are a resource for small businesses, not so much a destination, but we provide the resources for them to prepare themselves to start a business.
And all of these services are provided at no cost.
Yes, all of them are free. It's provided to Polk County businesses by the business tax. So that's where our funding comes from the business tax. So either an existing business or a startup business, you have to purchase a Polk County business license. And then if you live in an incorporated area, you'd have to purchase a city license. The business license that you purchase for Polk County funds our operating budget. So really you can thank the business owners that came before you that paid it forward. That's where we have the, why we have the ability to help businesses is due to that tax. So 100% of our services are free. Some of our partners though, they do charge. They don't work off of, they don't work for the county, so they're independent. So they do have some charges, but for the most case, it's very nominal at best.
It sounds like a very comprehensive network. For the folks who may not be, before they actually come in and sit down and talk with you, you mentioned them having sort of a business plan in place. So if their business plan isn't very strong, is that something that you help them to improve?
Yeah, we can sit down and walk them through step by step. A lot of business owners will come in and say, I have an executive summary and this and that, and you know, not all of us are experts in business planning. I certainly kind of learned it as I went along when I first started in here, and what makes a better business plan, which is why a lot of the times we start a business owner off with a strategic plan, which is a small portion of the business plan. And we'll say, you know, well, have you considered the considerations for the financial part? Typically, people that are really strong on the financial side are lacking in the marketing side, or really strong on marketing ideas are lacking on the financial side. So, or they have a great idea and they know how to market it, that's just, you know, how do I fund it? So we'll walk them through step by step and look at the, do a SWOT analysis ourselves with them and look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and then have them expand upon that. And from that too, I mean, we can work, it's not just a one-time appointment, it's something that's on and on.
Right.
Again, it might start out with me and then I might send them over to SBDC. They'll work with SBDC for a year or so and then not need any more help. And then 2 years down the line, they may come back and say, you know, we have an opportunity to expand our business. How can you help us? And again, we'll take that on a case-by-case basis. So it's hard to say all the things that we do as the Small Business Assistance Program. It's really all-inclusive of, I have an idea, to an exit strategy. You know, I've been in this business, I have someone that's interested in buying it, I want to get out of it.
So if we take a look at the community assistance side, what is the biggest benefit to the community that you all can offer in terms of this program?
The community development side has actually 3 different components. One is we manage the CRA, which is the only active CRA in Polk County now is Eloise. So we work with that community
what is
redevelopment.
That? Okay, yeah. I'm like, you got to tell me the acronym.
Community Redevelopment Agency. And so what we do is we work with that community to with a plan that was created. There's money that comes into that community from the county that is specifically for building up and creating a better base for that county or that area to grow from. And so this case it's Eloise. The other ones have reached the end of their plan, and so we've sunset those programs. So Eloise is the only existing CRA. The other side of it is in the incentive management program. The incentives, specifically ad valorem tax exemption program that the county has. We work with the communities to make sure that they're in compliance for that. We work with the companies to make sure they stay in compliance for that. Then on the community development side, we help the community, which gets to your question, which would be, what is the biggest asset for the community? I feel the biggest asset for each of those communities that we work with is starting from the ground up with them to identify what do you want to be? What are you? Are you an antiques district? Are you focused on sports? Are you focused on, what are the strengths and weaknesses of your community? And then how can we help that community grow from that? The basis for economic development is to employ people so that they have the money to go out and spend and, you know, raise the tide. If we don't have somewhere for those people to work, then they can't go out and spend money, and those small businesses suffer. So the one thing that economic development does, and what economic development agencies do, like CFDC or LEDC or Winter Haven EDC, is recruit those businesses, so the people for a specific community, or that would match with that community, and employ its citizens. Once those people are employed and are making money, then you'll start to see secondary industry, which is the small businesses, start to grow. So when that happens, whether they have a strong economic base and just not the small businesses, we help them with the infrastructure to make sure those small businesses are set up to succeed. And if they don't, then we're going to work with them to put together an economic development plan. So if a site selector does choose their area when they come in, then they have an opportunity to kind of court them and get them to come, so that the people in that community or the residents in that community are able to gain employment. The number one thing that I think our commissioners, our county commissioners, look at and what they want to do is increase the betterment and the better quality of life for the residents in Polk County. And one of the biggest ways we can do that is to get them jobs.
Right. So I'm going to back up just a second. You said that the CRAs, most of them have sunsetted, with the exception of Eloise. So how does community development sort of get invited into a community to start looking at that in order to offer its, I guess, advice or recommendations for that community?
The CRA is separate because the CRA has to meet, a CRA area has to meet certain specifications in order to be designated a CRA.
Right.
So that's kind of a special circumstance. But how do we go to each community and say, this is how we can help you?
I mean, the CRA kind of made sense that you were there and that was a program, but now that those programs are sort of timing out, how is it that you're now sort of reintroducing yourself to these communities without being too invasive?
Well, we really are trying to go to the communities and not over-promise, under-deliver. So we've created a small business resource guide. We've created some materials, and I've been doing this now I've been with the county almost 10 years, and I've been doing economic development in a sense, or small business development, for the last 6 years. So working with the communities, what I see is everybody kind of has a common denominator. The smaller communities don't have the resources to be able to focus just on a small business program. So what we're doing is creating those resources for them and bringing it to them so that they don't have to work hard at it. We want them to be set up for success. So we have a grant writer, researcher on our staff now. So if we can go to a community and say, you know, they have a beautiful downtown that used to be flourishing, and now the buildings are dilapidated, and we need to have some curb appeal, and we need to do some beautification work. We can go back and say, you know what, we're not only going to give you these resources, so if you have a small business coming in, we're going to help you with a plan that gets you ready for those site selectors to come in and maybe pick your area to put a new business. But we're also going to see if there's any grants available that we can help you recreate your downtown area so that those small businesses can thrive. The biggest thing is if you're a small business and you go into a community and you go into a building and it needs like $10,000 worth of work, you don't want to invest that money into that building. So we want to make sure that that's ready. So those are just some of the programs we can offer. Not every community needs that. Not every community is at that point. Some communities are at different parts. What it comes down to is relationships. And when we call those city managers, or when we call the planners, or when we call whoever, the Main Street program, we just say, this is what we have. We're happy to share this with you if it's something that you're interested in. If it's not, we'd love an opportunity to talk to you. I think the biggest resource we have available is our small business guide, which talks about every community in Polk County, every resource offered to them, and we're going to provide that free to every community. So we're not really going in saying we're going to do this for you and you need to listen to us. It's we're going to provide these resources for you because you are such an important part of Polk County. In these communities, you are such an important part of the culture and the just the residents of Polk County, that we're going to give this to you as a resource. So I don't think that anybody views us as kind of stepping on their toes.
Right.
I think some of the smaller communities welcome our help. Some of the larger communities don't need our help. That doesn't mean that we can't offer some assistance in some other way. Networking, I like to think we're kind of a clearinghouse of information.
Well, the Community and Small Business Assistance Program seems like a wonderful resource to Polk County residents.
I agree.
And we're out of time, but thank you so much for being here. Donna, it's been great to learn about this program and share it with others.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Community and Small Business Assistance supports the community by dedicating staff and resources to aid in the growth and development of an area so businesses and residents can grow and thrive. Starting a business is a difficult undertaking and requires time and dedication. The Polk County Community and Small Business Assistance Center is here to help businesses succeed. The program partners with existing business assistance organizations and local government agencies to ensure each community and its residents have access to the assistance they need to start a business or grow their current business. For more information, give them a call at 863-534-5915 or look them up on the web at www.polk-county.net, keyword Community and Small Business Assistance.